Welcome to the Marketing Management and Money Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Owens.
And I am your host, Ryan Murray.
Thank you so much, ladies and gents, for joining us. We want to take a second and really express our gratitude for everybody listening. This has been a really fun adventure for both of us, really, right?
Yeah, we get to see a little bit of the people that they like to subscribe and they like to download, and it's fun to see the numbers grow. And so we appreciate that you guys are listening, tuning in. We think it's great.
Yeah, we've had some really fun interactions. We've covered quite a few different topics now, and some of those topics have come from our listeners. And in my opinion, I really like having those conversations because it's definitely more relatable. It's something that I don't feel like I'm just sitting here staring at a microphone, but I'm really engaging with someone, and that's really important to me. So I would encourage any of our listeners out there, if you guys have a question or you want a topic covered, I would love to. We would love to go there. So, reach out to us on Twitter, send us a tweet, or you can jump on our website, send us an email, whatever, however suits you. But just know that we're listening, and we would love to engage with you and find out what topics you're curious about and anything that you want us to discuss. We're totally happy to take a crack at it. So
be wonderful. So the one today, it was an inquiry that came in around SEO, search engine optimization.
This is like a pretty big buzzword all over the interwebs. I feel like you hear about it a lot, and it's a big, huge behemoth of a topic.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much to it. I mean, you can get down to, there are basic, simple things that you can do for SEO, for sure. As an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, you don't have to be this guru to get some things done, to do some really good things for your business. But oftentimes when you jump online and you're looking at SEO, how to SEO, like, it can be scary. Like, SEO isn't where I started in marketing, especially not in digital marketing. And, as I first started getting into it and looking through different avenues that you can go down with SEO, it was like a whole new world.
That's beautiful.
I know, right? I'm definitely not going into singing. My singing career just got squashed by me.
No. That was beautiful. We loved it.
But it really was just like I thought I was stepping into something that was like, okay, I've been in digital marketing. I can take this on. And I walked through that door and was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I just discovered I'm going to be super nerdy here for a second, but I just discovered the creative mode of Minecraft. Like, whoa, I can do anything.
That was a little nerdy, but I'll tell you, Minecraft's a cool game, so it works.
Love it.
Yeah. It's
so, you have a ton of experience with SEO, and I've relied on you quite a bit as I kind of grew up in this, and
so my experience with SEO comes from a little bit of a different angle. When I first started exploring the world of SEO, it was because I had so many clients that would come and ask questions about SEO, and I had nothing to give them, and I'm just like, keywords. You use keywords,
right?
And so I decided to actually do some research. Did quite a few online trainings, programs, certificates, that kind of stuff. Even taught a beginning SEO class. Taught that for one of the universities that I've partnered with before.
I was going to say, teaching me doesn't count as teaching a class.
No, I
know.
I worked with a local university to teach an SEO class, and it went well. It actually was a lot of fun. But the angle that I've always taken is, there are people that are going to run circles around me when it comes to the technical side of SEO. But what I've always taken is I've always tried to mix SEO with the actual business applications, because one of the things that I find is a lot of businesses, if you get too technical down the SEO, if you start to spend too much time doing nothing but search engine optimization and trying to fix these things, you can kind of get yourself into some trouble. There was a company that I was working with that they did a massive overhaul of their website. Mm-hmm. And it was a very, very expensive overhaul, and it looked beautiful. I mean, it was just absolutely gorgeous. However, they were doing decent with their organic rankings, mm-hmm. and they plummeted.
Oh.
And they're like, what happened? And I looked at it, I'm like, well, you just violated a lot of basic rules. Like you went overly visual and didn't have enough content, So on every page there, the major search engines, they want to see content on those pages.
Right.
And if you have no content or not adequate content, mm-hmm. then you're going to get dinged for that. And the numbers change. When I was first getting into SEO, word count was about 500 words per page, and now a lot of people are recommending closer to 800 words per page. And I'm not going to get into the technical of, you need 500, you need 800. Honestly, when I do it, I just use, a software program that's going to give me the little green light that says, oh, hey, this
looks good.
This looks good. I find that it's more important to learn how to avoid the mistakes than it is to try and stay on top of the little tricks is what I'm going to say.
I wholeheartedly agree.
And this is kind of a key thing that I want to point out. Search engines right now are very sophisticated, very intelligent. I mean, it's creepy how intelligent they are. Mm-hmm. And so if you're trying to game the system, they know that you're trying to game the system. They are setting their algorithms specifically to punish people trying to game the system. So the first thing that I would say is stop gaming the system. Mm-hmm. Don't think that you are going to
pull one over on them.
Yeah. It's like, I'm sorry, they have billions of data sets to compare against.
Right.
They know who's gaming the system, and they punish those who are gaming the system. And so the first thing I would say is just be genuine. Like what are search engines looking for? Quality content.
Yeah.
Authentic quality content.
Yeah. That's absolutely the reason why there's the saying of content is king.
Yeah.
Right? Because it literally is. You have to have solid quality content, and that will do wonders for your SEO.
Yeah. And I've sat through a lot of trainings, and I've gone to, these digital marketing conferences, and it's funny because it's always like, you need quality content. And that's super basic, and I've got a 45-minute presentation, so I'm going to spend the next 43 minutes telling
about
you
tips and tricks.
Tips and tricks. And I'm like, just leave, unless, if this is your profession, if you are a digital marketer, great. Learn all of the tips and tricks. And
especially if you specialize in SEO.
Yeah.
For sure, go there. But we're talking, and this is what I kind of wanted to bring it back to, is we're talking to small business owners, entrepreneurs. These are people that oftentimes, at least the ones that I've worked with, they've got a lot going on. Mm-hmm. They don't want to just sit there and clack away at some SEO trying to figure out stuff. They want to, get the bread and butter of it, get the meat of it done and out of the way so they can move on to better things, other things that they're interested in.
Yeah. And so
So let's dial it back to that. Let's start there.
Okay.
If I am an entrepreneur or a small business owner and I've kind of just kicked things off, or say I've had a website for a little while and I don't really know. I want it to do better. I want more traffic. I want more people coming and visiting my website, whether that's making a purchase or just reading some content, finding out more information, finding how to get to my small business, the brick and mortar location, something like that. If I'm kind of in that zone, where do I start? What is the very first thing that you would recommend that I do?
So the first thing that I'm going to recommend is get online and just pull up the top 10 SEO mistakes. And it doesn't have to be literally the top 10. I don't care if it's the top 5 or whatever, but there are some real basic common mistakes that you want to avoid. And honestly, by avoiding these mistakes, you're going to put yourself on some solid footing. Don't do the bad things.
Yeah.
That right there is where I see so much of the problems. Because if you don't do the good things, you always still can. But if you start doing the bad things, you don't pay someone from Pakistan or India or, wherever to give you 10,000 keywords on the first page of Google.
Yeah.
Like, just don't do that, okay?
Right.
If it's not legit, if it smells fishy, it is fishy.
Yeah,
okay?
for sure. Don't go pay somebody a crap ton of money or even a little bit of money to just give you a wicked amount of likes on your page or whatever.
Yeah, it's just, and I mean, don't, that would be the first thing that I would say.
Don't try to game the system. Don't cheat it.
Yeah, don't cheat. Play fair because they know who's playing fair and they reward who's playing fair. So that would be the first thing that I would do. The second thing that I would do is I would get a software to do the heavy lifting. And, I don't usually like to put in a huge plug for one product over another, but this one, I haven't found anything else that beats it, and the free version is robust. And so I am going to put a plug in for Yoast because Yoast is a great tool. As far as I'm aware, it only runs on WordPress as a plugin. I have not seen Yoast outside of WordPress, but it really is a powerful tool. And the thing that's nice about it is it's going to stay up to date with best practices of SEO, so you don't have to. Again, if you are a professional digital marketer and this is what you do, you got to go a little bit beyond what we're talking about in this podcast.
Right.
But if you are like the 99% of rest of the entrepreneurs out there and you're like, oh, I've got this website, I kind of want to get a little bit of traction on it.
Yeah.
Those things right there going to make a huge difference.
So Yoast is Yoast.
Yes.
So if you just Google Yoast SEO, again, you can hit up their free version and it's great.
Yeah.
It'll help a ton. It'll do a lot of, like you said, it'll do a lot of that work for you.
Yeah.
Plug over.
Now, there's another thing that I want to talk about when it comes to SEO, and that is just understanding where it makes sense. Because this is something that oftentimes gets overlooked. If I were to ask you, what's the biggest search engine in the world, what would you say?
Google.
Now, technically, if you get outside of the United States, there are some areas where Google is not going to be the biggest, biggest search engine. Some countries have their own search engines. I'm not going to go into that level of detail because that's not my expertise. But it still is the biggest search engine in the world is Google. What's the second biggest?
YouTube.
And that's something that a lot of times we forget.
Yeah.
A
lot of people go, Bing? No. DuckDuckGo? No, definitely not. Who are you?
I love DuckDuckGo.
I know you do.
I'm putting a plug in for DuckDuckGo. If you're not using the search engine DuckDuckGo, start using DuckDuckGo. I love it. So YouTube.
I'm not even going to touch that. I'm not going there. Goodness H.
All right, bringing it back in. YouTube is a totally different way of searching. And, how-to videos have been very popular.
Oh, yeah.
And visual things, so
Oh, yeah. How often when you need to figure something out and you Google it, how often do you go to a video? I go to videos all the time.
Right.
And you see people with millions, not just millions of views, but millions of subscribers on something as simple as like car fixes, like automobile fixes, or how to do different hairstyles for girls, like how to do your makeup. Like
I just converted my fluorescent lights to LEDs.
Right.
And, millions of views.
Yeah. Somebody's getting paid for having posted that video. You know what I mean?
And so if you're having a hard time getting into the SEO world and you're just like, oh, I don't know what to do. Well, have you thought about creating a video or a video series?
Yeah.
If you're an expert as a small business, put something out there. And I'm amazed at how many, it's like a little selfie stick and someone's just like, oh, okay, guys, here I am. I'm going to talk to you. That stuff actually works and it's smart business.
Yeah.
Just keep it real, keep it authentic. Some of the other things that I want to point out, a lot of times people get hung up on Google because Google is so big when it comes to searching, but Bing and Yahoo and DuckDuckGo still have their place.
Ask Jeeves. And AOL. Jeez, man. I'm sorry. I like DuckDuckGo too. It has its place, but it's definitely not like
It's
my go-to search engine.
Yeah, it is niche, and if you like the niche benefits of it,
if you're a conspiracy theorist,
pretty much.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
It doesn't track you.
It doesn't.
Google does.
Right.
Google tracks you,
and not only that. Sorry, we're totally deviating here for a second.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it because we're already there.
Right. And I feel like I've done them some damage, and they're probably gonna sue me over it. But I'm gonna try to make some retribution here. Some restitution, not retribution. I had to think about that one for a second. I'm going to try to make some restitution here and, point out some positives. So when I have done some different work for, not only for SEO, but for paid search as well, finding keywords and things like that, DuckDuckGo will provide me with very valuable insights into what the possibilities of searches are. And they'll be very, very different from what I find in Google. Yeah. And so it's this totally, it's a very robust supplementary perspective on being able to approach your strategy for diving into SEO or paid search or something like that. It really rounds out what your visibility, your picture of how you're approaching that strategy.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there you go, DuckDuckGo. You're valuable.
It's my favorite search engine. So
yeah, I know.
And everyone follows me on the podcast. So
yeah,
I mean, we're good, right?
Oh, they follow Ryan. They follow me.
They follow Ryan.
So if you're going to send an email about DuckDuckGo, send it to Ryan
at Marketing Management Money.
Not Ryan. I don't want to hear about DuckDuckGo. I'm just kidding.
But so don't ignore those other searches, because a lot of times a niche search engine is going to be easier for you to get a little bit of traction in. And so you might, especially if you're a niche business, if you got something that's a little bit unique that you can offer, search and find out what else is going on out there. A lot of the social media that's where people are searching as well.
Oh yeah.
And so think about that and be like, okay, maybe I'm not getting ground in SEO, maybe I want to have my online presence go more social. And this is something that I don't think businesses understand well enough. Social media and SEO are two different things.
Very much.
And if you think about, the big behemoths that are trying to get your clicks, they don't necessarily want you to go to their competition.
Right.
And so they're trying to keep you within their family.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, people are like, oh, well, if I have all these, all these likes, isn't that going to help my SEO? I'm like, well, indirectly, but directly, no. It's not. It's not one of the factors that is going to weigh heavy on your SEO.
There's some SEO specialist that's flying out of the woodwork right now, pushing up his glasses, being like, "Excuse me, actually."
so there
it's direct, actually. For the basic level of SEO, entrepreneurial kind of a approach to this, yeah, it's
different.
It's super different.
And just remember this, that the behemoths don't want you to leave their family.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm on, social media, if I'm in the Facebook, Instagram family, they don't want to send you over to the Google, YouTube family. They want you to stay right where you are. And so they're not trying to do favors to their competitors and be like,
exactly.
like if I'm shopping on Amazon, Amazon wants to keep you on Amazon.
Yeah,
however, Amazon buys a lot of ad space from Google.
Right.
A lot.
Yeah. Hey, it's like those.
It works.
It's like those fish that hang around the gills of sharks or whatever.
Yeah.
That symbiotic relationship. Now Amazon's going to sue me.
Hey, if Jeff Bezos is listening to our podcast to get a few notes, I think we're doing okay.
High five.
But, when you're doing your SEO, look for kind of that open space. But here is, and we've already said this, but I'm going to wrap it up with this, and that is when we say content is king, you're never going to have success in SEO if you are not generating fresh content. If you don't have a lot of good quality, relevant content, and so, I've had these businesses that they'll come to me and they'll want me to analyze their webpage, and they'll be like, okay, hey, here's my webpage, and it's like a 5-page webpage, which is pretty common for a small business, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't go out and hire some SEO expert that is going to charge you $20,000 and get you nowhere.
Right.
Like if you don't have the right level of content to put out there, then it's not worth you investing. And so I'll get these these companies that they'll come in and they've got a little 5-page website and they're like, I want to optimize this website. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, you don't add content. You don't have a blog that you do. Yeah. You don't have, there's not an extensive e-commerce product listing going on. Yeah. There's nothing that you're adding to. And so...
Yeah, you may have updated the look of your website, but you haven't updated your content since 1997.
Yeah.
And there are other things that are more important.
It really, at that point, becomes a glorified phone book ad where it's like people are finding this as a way to get your contact information.
Yeah,
that's not going to give you the top ranking of Google for, some really valuable keywords.
Right. Yeah. If you still have a link on your site going out to MySpace, you might want to rethink your content. Man, I'm spicy tonight.
I know. You're like going around punching people in the nose trying to pick a fight.
I know. Deep breaths.
So, but that's the thing is, if you're going to do an SEO strategy, then you need to have a strategy. You can't just tiptoe around it. You either do it or you don't do it. And if you're going to do it, then, get a software to do the heavy lifting for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not going to do it, still find out what the best practices are of what not to do so that you're not dinging yourself. Don't hurt yourself with a bad website. But, make sure that you've got, like, being mobile friendly is
it's huge.
Yeah, you've got to be there. And I get on these websites that I'm still, having to scroll on my phone because it's not mobile friendly. And I'm like, look, that is a penalty. Like, all of the major search engines will penalize you for not being mobile friendly. Right. So, those types of things are going to get you a lot more traction than some of these things where you're just like, well, I find that if I put the keyword at the second sentence in the first paragraph, and then I wait until the third paragraph to introduce the keyword again. And I'm like, sorry, that's gimmicky.
Well, and to kind of wrap up your, because I really like that you tied this up with some really straightforward, basic, do this, don't do this. Because I feel like we can sit here and talk about SEO and how big and, crazy it is and all these little things. But at the end of the day, if our listeners don't have something to take home and say, how do we do this? That's basically what I'm getting is I want to make sure this is valuable, right? So, and to kind of round that off or tie that off, it's coming back to the content. And what you're alluding to is, you can go with really complicated, complex strategies of, well, if I put my third keyword on this sentence and my second keyword down on the third line, you can get crazy technical like that. And there will be experts out there and people that can do that sort of thing and want to and will swear by it and whatnot. But you as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, it is so important to have just genuine quality content. You know what I mean? So, and it will cover your bases in a lot of those really specific niche tricks and tips and things that, like, for example, there's keyword stuffing, right? If you're just finding out all the keywords that people are searching for and then writing some blog post that just uses all of those keywords in
just to use them.
3 paragraphs just to use them, right? Like, that's going to ding you. That's something not to do. Don't do keyword stuffing.
Yeah.
But you don't even need to know that. All you have to do is write a good piece of content.
Yeah. If it's well written, it won't have keyword stuffing in it.
It'll be relevant to your industry. It'll have some of those keywords. And it will be very much applicable to people's searches, right? And I'm not advocating don't go out and do keyword research, right? But on a very basic fundamental level, in terms of SEO, like you said, avoid some of the glaring mistakes. Find out what those are and avoid those for sure. But then, just do your best to be genuine, consistent, and put out quality content. Yeah. It's that simple. Yeah. It really is. SEO is that simple.
Yeah. About 97% of SEO is quality content.
Yeah.
So with that, we hope that you've enjoyed this quality content, and we hope that you will subscribe to our podcast. Let us know what other topics are going to be of interest to you. We've really enjoyed talking about SEO. SEO for the average entrepreneur is kind of what I'm feeling right now, and we will catch you next week.
Thanks for listening.